Hello everyone, it's Armstrong here from Adai Miniatures, and today I want to start a new series. It ain't gonna be a daily series like Gaslands Daily, but it's gonna be episodic and probably often enough, to tickle your interest. So what is the series about? I want to make a Billion Suns bio fleet. I was looking around at different fleets in Billion Suns and probably saw like 2 or 3 builds with a nice looking bioships, but I got a little bit inspired by Tyranids from Warhammer 40k and decided to build some bioships. So let's just get onto the table and see what I can build. So up here I have some materials for my bioships, green stuff, milliput, and beforehand I actually prepared some tentacles with my tentacle maker, and I have these shapes that I created, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 10 months ago. I was just messing around with the green stuff and I was thinking about some biological forms, shapes that I can use for something in 40k, and I just created this little shapes from green stuff. So I have like just a normal very flat tentacles, and some that I made with the tentacle maker, that have a little bit of ribbing on them. But I think that those 3 pieces ain't gonna be used today. Maybe they're gonna start from this, yeah. And of course this build's gonna require some sculpting skills, and since I have none, it's probably gonna be quite hard for me. Yeah, I sculpt very basic stuff, yeah, and I struggle with a lot of scoping. So yeah, I want to first and of all connect those 2 together, yeah, as the top and the bottom of a bioship, and add some tentacles to it. And now I'm looking that most of the tentacles are actually thicker than that, so I think that I'm gonna have to open at least the back of it, yeah, and then I'm gonna see. Let's start adding stuff. Oh my goodness, my super glue gets stuck after a week of me not being here, and I have no good enough tools to open it. Oh, this is a disaster. I decided to switch to smaller bottle, as this is gonna save me from having to look for some tools to open the other one. Yeah. And now, like I said, I want those 2. I want to be a bottom of the ship and this to be a top of it. Yeah. And maybe like that. So let's start gluing some stuff inside. And then I'm gonna have to get a green stuff and milliput mixed together and see what I can do with it. But I'm just warning you, if you are looking for a good tutorial for green stuff, this isn't it. Yeah, I'm not great at it. Yeah, I'm just decent enough to hopefully build something that I gonna like. Yeah. So like I said, this is heavily Warhammer 40k Tyranids inspired. As when I was coming up with the idea, I was thinking that about Tyranids biofleet. But we will see how it's gonna turn out. Yeah, so far I have like a couple of tentacles sticking out, and I just think that I'm gonna fill up the gaps in between them with the smaller ones. I was really just hoping that this is gonna stick somehow. soaking this. Yeah, but what I'm thinking, a quite thick carapace for the bioforms, and then a couple of tentacles sticking here and there and everywhere. And maybe other ones gonna have horns, maybe even this one gonna have like this giant horns sticking up front as they weapon of choice. Yeah. I don't know that a Billion Suns universe have a bioships, but I'm just producing them right now. So from now, you know that Billion Suns universe have bioships. Yeah, and I just gonna point it out that I don't own the rulebook for Billion Suns. I just find the game sounding cool, and I still need to order one. I will probably next couple of weeks, and I just lost that spike. Oh my goodness, it was the biggest one. Maybe just use another one that isn't the same size. Who cares? This is mocking up with some already dried green stuff. So, well, this actually, yeah, this one down, this one like that. It just, and I have this one which I was mocking with a different shape of design on it. Yeah, so let's just put this in here. And I think that that's gonna be probably enough on this side of the big tentacles, because I'm gonna probably do some smaller to fit in between them, just to fill up the gaps. But which one do I want? Maybe more to the back, because I want to keep the flow that it is moving in one direction. Oh, and this moved a lot. Let's fix it up. You can see how this just flips out. It's hard to connect, all of those pieces in a quick succession like that. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for this to dry, and I'm gonna come back with a mixed up green stuff, and we're gonna start filling up the gaps and see what we can create as a first bioship in the fleet. So I'll be right back. So I mixed up some green stuff, and like always when it comes to fiddly bits, I got saved by baking soda. I just put a little bit more of a super glue, and then added baking soda just to fill up the gaps. I'm sorry, before the recording my voice was okay, and straight away it just crashed. Don't know what's going on. I think it might be just the winter, And right now it isn't very pretty in Ireland. Well, it is pretty all the year around, but when it comes to weather, it's, going down the hill very, very quickly. So why this series is gonna be more episodical is a very simple answer to that question. Because making green stuff takes much longer. Yeah, it just isn't as quick as cars. Yeah, the cars takes, I can pop out one in 40-50 minutes if I'm lucky, and with green stuff I would probably have to go for a couple of hours, and then we need to count a 40 minutes drying time as well. So unfortunately this is pretty much impossible to do in quick succession. That's why we'll keep this probably 1 or 2 a week. It's a very fun idea, I think, but I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to squeeze weekly to do, yeah. So I want to have a full nice looking bioships, yeah, and a biofleet. And you know, like I said, it is, for me, it is Tyrannid inspired, but plenty of people gonna see in here, you know, stuff that would probably remind them of a StarCraft universe, because there is, you know, StarCraft have plenty of Tyrannid-ish looking builds, well, creatures in it. And if you think that it look more StarCraft than World of Warcraft, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. Oh, this isn't great. Oh, all right, I have some ribbing. That's fine. But you know, I'm to save on green stuff, and as well because I don't like qualities of both materials. Yeah, like green stuff is very sticky when milliput is kind of how to call it now. Milliput is, oh, okay, dropping my blade. That's lovely, perfect, you know, show for YouTube. Milliput is how to explain it. Milliput is more like porcelain. Yeah, it's more of sandy, in my opinion, kind of material. I prefer to have like, I like the green stuff properties, you know, the rubberiness of it, but then it is too rubbery, yeah. And I like the properties of milliput, and I dislike them as well. So to counteract, you know, those stuff, I always mix up green stuff and milliput, roughly about 60% green stuff and 40% milliput. Yeah, and this allows me to get this material which is somewhere in between those two. Yeah, it isn't brilliant, again, you know, it's workable. Yeah. And when it is too fresh, like it is right now, it's extremely fussy. Yeah, you need to wait about 10-15 minutes for it to be more agreeable with you. But since I'm working on this build, you know, I just want to have the tentacles in place and allow them to get a little bit more flexibility right now, because I'm afraid that, oh, it may be just problematic later on. Yeah, but this is gonna be extreme tentacle overload. So I'm just allowing myself to work with not a perfect material right now. And of course, even if you find the perfect material, it can still behave not as you want in some situations. So I'm okay with this situation right now here. Here, I think that I want this to stick into this hole. So yeah, not all of the tentacles gonna be ripped. Like you can see, this horn is, I just counted as a horn or something. And I already have a plan for some other ships, which gonna be more of a Kraken type, because this one have this kind of ramming horns that can ram. I think about ships that's gonna have some sort of, you know, bio weaponry that can shoot. But as well, I think about ships that's gonna be basically giant jaws to crack other ships in half. Yeah, so I have quite few ideas. Yeah, not all of them probably feasible, but we will see how this is gonna turn out. Thus far, I'm just building a prototype, and we will see where I go from there. And I'm gonna need to buy a bigger green stuff roller, as this one is turning out to be too small for this. I want longer tentacles. That's gonna be allowing me for more freedom in those builds. Yeah, so let's just twist this one backwards. And I think that I want like a couple of small tentacles around here, very small, just to show this as a mouth. And pretty much this is gonna be done for now, at least for today, because I'm gonna need to wait for those tentacles to dry, and that's 4 hours, and that's gonna be after midnight, I guess. And I'm trying to pick up a normal sleeping schedule. As my wife can say, you know, I never sleep normal. I go to sleep around 3, 4 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. But right now I'm fighting my bad habits, and I'm trying to go to bed around 1, maybe 2 o'clock. So hopefully I'm gonna manage to fight off my bad habits and, you know, be a good boy and go to bed at you know, earlier time, get up earlier and be more productive during the day. But the thing is, I like being productive during the night as it's quiet, yeah, and I like to work in quiet. Come on, just small tentacles, just fillers. I don't even gonna try to texture them. Yeah, you can see how tiny they are. Yeah, just something that mostly fit under my finger. And I'm sorry if this part is boring, but if I prepare a couple of them, it's gonna be faster. All right, let's get to sticking this in to this monster. And you know, I don't have much space in here, and the other tentacles are bending around, so this is gonna be quite a challenge. So this one in here, and I want it to be drooping. I want some of them to be drooping out of his mouth. I think that it's gonna be mouth of this ship. Yeah, because, you know, like when you look at the Chinese dragons, the serpents, they have this kind of drooping, I don't know what would you call them, but they look like drooping mustaches out of their mouths almost, or around their mouths. So I'm just going for the same generic idea here. Yeah, they might be for scooping out something to eat to the mouth. So, yep, let's just make them look a little bit more organic by bending them. Yeah, and the thing is that it is quite difficult for this to stay in place right now. All right, and I need to be careful to don't grab the wrong tentacle when I'm pushing this around. Oh yeah, I need to add some super glue. This is gonna help me. I don't know whether I'm gonna manage to fit 4 on this side. Maybe it's gonna be only 2 or 3, but let's try and see. So 1 and come on. See, it's hard sometimes to just pick them up even from the table. I'm gonna leave this one, going backwards. That's fine. This can work as some sort of antenna. They think that this one gonna be the last one on this side, just going in here. And now the rest of the small ones, I just want to stick them into different, little cracks in the armor. Yeah, not all of his tentacles in here have to be giant and long. They can be just, small fillers, especially around here next to the horn. I just want something to be there, as this space looks somewhat barren. But you can see how I need to be very, very careful to don't destroy what I already have done. So here, come on, just gonna leave it as it is. And here, the last one. Come on. You can see how a use of the X-Acto blade is actually helping. Yeah, I think that for now this is somewhat done. I need to wait 4 hours at least now to get this finished. Yeah, so it will be a second for you, but few hours for me. All right, so it's been a second for you and a full night for me. How you can see this all dry off. Yeah, we have the small tentacles that I added solid by now. So I was looking at this part, yeah, and the two pieces that I glued together did actually separate in here, which created a mouth, which I didn't even plan for, but it just happened by itself. So I mixed just a green stuff. I didn't mix the green stuff and mealy put together, and I'm gonna start filling up all the little gaps in between those tentacles, just to make it complete. And thanks to this, that it is just a green stuff mixed, I gonna have a difference in colors. So I'm gonna see where I was working already and what still have to be done. Yeah, but this is a very simple thing to do. I'm only trying to fill up the gaps and blend it with the rest of the miniature. And as well, since this is organic, I can make some lines in here to show it is some sort of a muscle. And my wife here that I'm recording, and she is putting some music on as well, She's a lovely person trying to help me. So yeah, you can see this in here. It's a very simple, very organic thing to do. So I'm just gonna switch off the recording right now and just fill up all of those gaps and be back in a second for you. And here we can see it with all of the little gaps that I don't want to be visible filled up in somewhat organic looking way. And again, I need to take about 4 hours of break from building it, as all of the green stuff have to at least partially solidify before I start painting. So I will see you in a second. And here it is, my first bioship, finished being sculpted, and now I just added I painted it white to get a nice base color. And I want to start with tentacles. And tentacles, I want them to be pink. Well, maybe they're gonna change it to more purplish color. Unfortunately, it fell, so this tentacle broke. But other than that, it's the same as it was. Just a small crack in it. Yeah, I was unlucky. I just dropped it, and I couldn't find the piece that cracked off of this. So this is a minus of mixing green stuff and milliput. It's more fragile. Yeah. So just slowly, I'm gonna paint the tentacles pink, and I think that I'm gonna go with the purple carapace to have it roughly in the same colors. I don't know how well it's gonna turn out, as I'm not very good at organic things. I much prefer painting robots and even space marines, as long as they don't have exposed heads. Yeah, the exposed heads are really something that stumps me. I don't like painting skin unless it is some sort of a weird color that I can avoid being somewhat realistic with. Like if creature have a red or gray or blue skin, I'm okay, because I don't know how this would be shading as a normal body part. But if I am supposed to paint like a Caucasian or a Asian or black face, I just don't have a clue. Like always, I like my art teacher was always saying that faces have blues and greens in them, but I struggle so much with faces. My self-portrait looks worse than cubist auto-portraits, so believe me, I'm bad at it. So the tentacles, we have to remember that this and this is a horn, yeah. So I will probably paint them in a little bit different color scheme, but all of those little ones are tentacles. So yeah. So I think that I managed to get all of the pink tentacles somewhat covered, or mostly. I struggle to find all of the little nooks and crannies that the paint didn't go to. Especially with this, organic looking objects. So let's leave this paint for now and switch to rich purple. Yeah, I want a dark purple. I don't know how liquidy this one is. It's okay. So I want dark purple in this case as a carapace. Yeah. And wow, I like this. This is perfect for what I want here. So this is the top carapace. And I was looking at the Beetles today, because I make the Beetle car earlier on. And the Beetles are actually quite colorful creatures. Some of them are like bright green, bright blue. And I don't know if it's gonna be a beetle themed creature. I think it is more of a ocean creature, and ocean creatures are even more colorful. So yeah, the carapace, I like the color of the carapace. And now I'm just thinking about the underbelly and what color it would be, you know. I think that I'm gonna paint the spaces in between the tentacles in kind of gory red. I think that I have the right color just standing on the desk here. Yeah, scab red, which is just fine for this. And for that purpose, I'm just gonna use some finer brush. I do actually own fine brushes, I just don't use them too often. For Gaslands at least. Yeah, so gore red. And you know, I can blend it a little bit with the tentacles, they can have a little bit of that color on them. But I don't want to have this too much of that color, but because this is gonna be already pinkish, reddish, purplish, it's the fourth color gonna be just a too much. It could create too much mess on the model, but I still want to show that this is more of a fleshy part of it, although pink is fleshy enough, I guess. Yeah. Oh, I missed a lot of pink on one of the tentacles there. Gonna have to come back to it. So let's just get this here. Not enough water, I guess. And where else I was thinking about using this red color is the very base of the horns. Yeah, I want it to be more of a reddish color here, and then I want them to go into bleached bone. So I'm gonna just paint them to roughly about the half point in that color, and then I'm gonna go with the bleach bone, and hopefully it's gonna work for me. Like, I never know how to paint horns properly. Sometimes I just leave them white, but you know that the horns aren't really perfectly white, so I just want to fit some of that paint in between here to show that the inside of the monster is somewhat reddish. Okay, I have some of those tentacles still white over here. Oh yeah, I'm actually in the viewer, that's surprising. I was thinking that I already pushed over. That's fine, that's fine. And now the belly, yeah? And this one is more me looking at lizards when I was collecting still what do you call them? Lizardmen. I think that I want this belly to be orange, yeah? So I have, what, 4 shades of red-ish colors. I have pink, I have dark red, I have purple, and now I'm gonna have a bright orange underbelly. Yeah, and I don't know why, I just was thinking that this is gonna work for that spaceship creature monstrosity something. I put a toothpick into the stand hole just for the painting purposes. Other than that, I actually have a see-through base for it. So yeah, it ain't gonna be a wooden peg, it's gonna be acrylic base. So there we have it. Yeah, first layer of paint is done. I'm gonna dry it off, be right back, and then we're gonna probably cover it in a wash. I'm gonna use I think shade Drucari Violet, and then come back with a dry brush to redefine the other colors. And Alright, the paint is somewhat dry and the miniature is somewhat hot after, hair dryer just hitting it. But I wanted to say sorry because I constantly say yeah for some reason. I don't know what's happened to me during my trip to Poland, but this word just got stuck in my head and I keep on repeating it. So I will try to limit my use of this word, as I was watching my video back yesterday just to confirm, how it turned out, and I was quite frankly really, a little bit worried about me constantly repeating yep. It was unsettling. So I really put a conscious effort now to not say that word. But it's probably gonna happen, so please forgive me. I will do my best to do better anyway. Alright, I still have something missing in here. It's normally hard to get the paint everywhere, so this wash will stain the rest of the white paint remaining on the tentacles and give them some shading. But again, this have to be dried off properly before I'm gonna start with more of a dry brushing, because right now it's a very unified purplish color with different depths of purple. So hair dryer and be right back. And here we are. I think that the Drukari violet shade is completely dried off, so I'm just gonna grab a pink and try to do dry brushing with pink, which is gonna be a completely new experience for me. Well, not dry brushing, I would say more of an overbrush. Yeah, but still, it's too watery, I guess. Let's just, oh yeah, okay, I can see that it's dry brushing now. So I need to be very gentle with that. I want to have the pink coming up, but I want to keep the purple in crevices. So we'll have some highlights finally on this, and I know that it is much longer than my usual, videos for this kind of builds, especially Gaslands builds, but this one is a complete sculpting thingy. So I hope that people who are interested in it would be interested in watching it in full, because it took definitely much more time than a Gaslands video to make this one. So if you managed to watch to this point, please say I in the comments, that you watched it to the point when I was painting it. And I will know. So it's more pinky now in here, but like I said, I don't want to completely obliterate the purpleness of it with too heavy of a brushing of pink, but I still want some extra pink on those guys, because this just isn't bright enough. So I just need to keep on going, with little touches of pink and hoping that I ain't gonna screw what I already achieved here. And believe me, this kind of painting is very scary for me because I know how badly I can screw stuff. If you are me, you know how bad you can be. So let's get the purple for the carapace now, and again just try to do a dry brushing because this is now very dark, and I hope that this purple gonna just light it up a little bit. And it definitely picked up, especially when there was still a little bit of pink mixed up in it. You can see how it hit here. I turned this piece of tentacle. So back to pink. Oh, this is gonna be a pushing and pulling all the time. That's fine, that's enough. No more, because if I'm gonna do more, I'm gonna screw it, so yes. Let's empty it. And orange. The blazing orange color. And I really want this orange on the underbelly. So let's do it. Let's get more of really bright orange. And I want some more. It's not enough. All right. It's done. There was one more color that I was using. Oh yes, the red color for the what do you call them now? For the horns, yeah. And I don't want too much of it, just a touch, especially that the purple did dye it a little bit. And you know, I ain't gonna be doing the muscles anymore. I ain't gonna be redefining them in this color. I'm okay with that. What I have in here, there's only one more color to apply, and I think that this little monstrosity gonna be done. I'm just gonna move it here because I see that I'm constantly escaping from the viewer point. So let's empty it up a little bit. And now my bleach bone. Again, just to get it on here, yeah. And it isn't pretty because I never paint the bleach bone pretty, but hopefully this is just too watery, so that's why it is so transparent. No, it's okay, it's just enough. Yep. And I think that it is done for me. So painting is done. I'm just gonna rebase it, throw it on the spin table, and be right back. And here we have it, my first bioship. It has some giant horns and tentacles, and it looks kind of weird and menacing. And you know, with the see-through base, it's actually turned out much better than I was expecting it. And so I will continue this as a series and build more of them. I'm really happy with how this simple build really turned out. So if you like it, please rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, family and everyone else. And of course, this is the end of the video. Have a lovely day everyone and take care.